Hello there, this is Nitya. Thank you so much for listening in. So, is sex just sex? I mean, is sex just sex? So, we quite often hear those words, and sometimes also spoken with a bit of a judgmental tone, like it's something to be frowned upon, or some kind of low level activity, something shameful, or to be ridiculed. And when I hear those words from a person, I'm often wondering whether perhaps it's like they have maybe only experienced one dimension of sex, or maybe one level of sex. Sometimes we hear it also in together with, is it sex and love, or is it just sex? And to me, that's even still kind of a limiting way of expressing this multidimensional possibility that our sexuality is. And our sexual energy being part of life. It's a bit like saying, so it's just life, or like, because I lived yesterday, I know everything of what life is about. It makes it into a small thing, like something you just do, and when you've done it, you know what it is. And I mean, with quantum physics now, we know that we are energy and moving particles in space. And to look at something as just something, I actually got a message today from a guy on Instagram who sent me a private message there. And he said, also, you're a sex coach, huh? Well, I don't need any of that. I never heard from the guy before. That was his hello. So I answered back to him, that's great to hear. I'm happy for you. I hope that your ex-partners will agree to that as well. And so in this case, it seems to me that guy, which is, not an uncommon thing either to hear from men. He wasn't the first guy that's given me, an answer, or, said those things like along those lines, like, I'm already sex god kind of thing by birth. And so it's like thinking of our sexuality like something, a thing you do, that's really limiting something that's really a multi-dimensional possibility, like a doorway that we open that to infinite universe. And but by calling it just sex, or just anything, like that guy is referring to it like, I've done sex, I know sex, there's nothing more to learn. Yeah, it's like waking up in the morning and saying, well, I don't need to experience life anymore because I know it already. So so this links in for me with the way I work with my clients in my sex and intimacy coaching practice. That it's very much about moving past that first level of sex, which there's absolutely nothing wrong with. It's very important because that's where we start. But it's a beginning, and by staying in that level of sex and that thinking that surrounds that is we're limiting the potential of our sexual life force, which is really has the possibility to be a doorway, like a doorway to a new universe of many, many levels, infinite levels, where we can experience our sexuality in ourselves, in our sexual life force, which is not just about doing sex, or pushing that button, or having this position, or having this or that many orgasms, which again is limiting the experience to something like a thing, something you can count, or do, or pinpoint. So seeing ourselves from the perspective of being multidimensional beings in a multidimensional universe, sexuality for me is definitely not just sex. And that is a big part of how I work with my clients, that when we connect ourselves deeply within and embody our sexual life flow, we are opening the doorway to a new way of living life, which is just not in regards to how we are having sex with our partners, but very much about how we live every moment of our day in our lives. So if you have any questions in regards to this, I'd love to hear from you. And Otherwise, I talk to you soon. Okay, all the best. Bye bye.